What's going on, Not Move Nation? Welcome to the Not Move podcast. Today's February 2nd at 8:43 a.m. Eastern Time. We have four NBA games on today. One of them starts at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. The New Orleans Pelicans at Charlotte Hornets. Thank you to the supporters, subscribers, followers. We appreciate you guys. Also, thank you to the sponsors, BetUS, MyBookie.ag, Walmart.com, Open Goal, the MLB and NFL Pro Shops, and W Energy Drinks. All right. I won't be able to be on here for a long time today, but let's get into it. NBA defense versus position. So yesterday I said that I was going to keep track of this fantasypros.com website where it gives you how a team defends against a specific position, right? So yesterday, Quickly, Mikal Bridges, and Wiggins were three guys that had the best matchups according to fantasypros.com. All of them went under their point total. And then the three guys that were going up against the best defenses, Jamal Murray, John Collins, and Claxton, in regards to points per game allowed, they were going up against the best defenses at those positions. Jamal went under the points. Claxton went under the points, but John Collins went over. So today, I looked and, there's only four games on today, but the Pelicans allow the most points per game to shooting guards. And when I checked this morning, Knepel's over-under was 17 and a half points. So if that trend still continues today from yesterday, then he'll go under that today. And then Philadelphia allows the most rebounds per game to power forwards. John Collins is projected to be the starting power forward there for the Clippers today. So if that trend continues, John Collins will go under the 5.5 rebounds. But yeah, let's break this first game down real quick. New Orleans Pelicans at Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte's hot right now. They've won 6 straight games. The Pelicans have lost 1 game in a row. And, the Pelicans have won 2 regular season games in a row against Charlotte. Something that I found interesting about this game is that 3 of the projected New Orleans Pelicans starters today were born in North Carolina. The Charlotte Hornets play their games there in North Carolina. So I found that pretty interesting. Charlotte Hornets. Who do they play? It's located there, the Spectrum Center. The Hornets play their games there in North Carolina. So Zion Williamson was born in North Carolina, and then Sadiq Bey and Trey Murphy. All 3 of them were born in North Carolina. Points in the paint. Zion Williamson ranks second best in the NBA in points in the paint per game. Charlotte's below average at defending against that. So if you like Zion today, you got that working for you. Obviously, there's some injuries and stuff that could still pop up. I think yesterday after the show, there were, 5 other players that ended up being out of those games. And they didn't even, notify me during that time. So basically what I'm trying to say is a lot can happen in those moments leading up to game time in regards to player injuries and whatnot. Today, I'll get back to this Pelicans and Charlotte Hornets game, but today I see Kevin Durant is ruled out for Houston. I'm seeing that Anthony Edwards is questionable to play against Memphis tonight. He's the shooting guard there for Minnesota. Julius Randle is questionable to play tonight for Minnesota. He's Minnesota's power forward. Jaren Jackson Jr. is questionable to play tonight. Embiid, center for Philadelphia, is listed as probable. And then James Harden, they haven't updated, but he didn't play yesterday. Harden. Yeah, Harden used to play with the Sixers too. So if you guys like those revenge spots, maybe that'll work out for you today. Anyways, let's get back to this Hornets game here. Yeah, so Zion, I do give him a points in the paint advantage in this game today. Let's go look at how the Hornets defend against the power forward position on fantasypros.com. So the Charlotte Hornets allow the third most points per game to power forwards, and that's what Zion's listed at today. So I think he's definitely a player prop that we could look into. Let's go see what his over under on points is at. Zion over under 21.5 points. And then Zion versus Hornets stats. Just want to see how many times he's gone over that against the Hornets throughout his career. He's gone over that in 2 out of 5 career games against the Hornets. If you take that to 21 plus points, you're looking at 3 out of 5. So 2 out of 5 career games. He's gone over that line. And then how many times has he gone over that line in the recent past? This season, just in general. He hasn't gone over that in 3 straight games. He's gone over that in 2 out of 5, 2 out of 6, 2 out of 7, 3 out of 8, 4 out of 9, 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 games this season. So I think it's going to be pretty close. I mean, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable probably taking him for 21 plus, 20 plus. I have some other players listed here. I don't know if I'm going to get into all that at this time. I don't have a whole lot of time that can be on here. I'll just try to give you guys the most valuable information that I've found this morning so far. Excuse me. Both of these teams are below average at defending against fast break points per game. So fears. Jeremiah Fears. He's the best fast break scorer for the Pelicans. I also would be interested on like bench points allowed by the Hornets because he should be coming off the bench. It looks like the Hornets, they're about average, it looks like, at defending against bench points. So, but if this is like a blowout game, I think Fears could get even a little bit more time out there. If you guys are interested in Jeremiah Fears props today, I think the Hornets have kind of been blowing everybody out too, or getting blown out. Let me just go check. I know yesterday there were 10 games on. 7 of those games, I believe, were decided by 10 plus points. So it's kind of turning into the National Blowout Association, so the National Basketball Association. But yeah, I mean, looking at the Hornets, their last couple games were competitive, but before that, man, 10 plus. A lot of the games that they played in were decided by at least 10 points. So I think there is some blowout potential here with Charlotte and Pelicans. I mean, you could look at like margin of victory too, in the NBA, average scoring margin. You know, which teams are blowing teams out and which ones are getting blown out. So, anyways, yeah, Fears and Trey Murphy have fast break points advantage for New Orleans today. Charlotte ranks 19th in fast break points allowed per game. Yeah, Fears ranks 35th, best in the NBA, and then Murphy ranks 45th, best in the NBA in fast break points per game. And then Brandon Miller and Knipple. If you guys like those guys for points today, New Orleans is bad. They rank 26th in fast break points allowed per game. So yeah, Miller and Knipple both rank in the top 50 in the NBA in fast break points per game. Trey Murphy, I mentioned he has a fast break advantage. I think he's got a little bit of a 3-point advantage today as well. Charlotte's a little bit below average in defending against that. Trey Murphy's the projected point guard here for New Orleans. So just want to kind of see how Charlotte's been defending against 3-point field goals made by point guards. Looks like they're about average. So, LaMelo should be his primary defender. And I was looking at the worst defenders in the NBA list. And LaMelo ranked 49th on that source that I looked at this morning is craftednba.com. They have their own formula in deciding, who is a good defender and who's a bad defender. Once again, that source is craftednba.com. But yeah, they have LaMelo ranked at 49th worst defender in the NBA. So, maybe Trey Murphy takes advantage of that today. The Pelicans are terrible at defending against the 3-point field goals per game. They rank second worst when I checked this morning. And, LaMelo ranks 7th best in 3-point field goals per game. Knipple ranks 8th best. Miles Bridges ranks 48th best in the NBA. So those three guys, I think, generally speaking, have a big 3-point advantage in this game today. So I just kind of want to look real quick to see, where the Pelicans are most vulnerable. So if you like LaMelo's points today, the Pelicans allow the 8th most 3-point field goals per game to opposing point guards, according to fantasypros.com. And then Kneppel's the projected shooting guard for the Hornets today. Pelicans allow the 2nd most 3-point field goals to shooting guards. And then power forwards is what Miles Bridges is projected to play today. The Hornets allow the 7th most 3-point field goals to power forwards. But, if yesterday is any indication on how Kneppel will perform today, I mean, the Pelicans allow the most points per game to shooting guards, right? So yesterday when we tracked that, all three players went under their point totals. So if that trend continues, Knipple goes under the 17.5 today. So I'd be probably more looking for like LaMelo or Miles Bridges on those points. Assist, if you guys like any assist props in this game, both of these teams are below average at limiting their opponent's assists per game. New Orleans actually allows the 2nd most assists per game. And then rebounds, if you like Charlotte rebounds, any rebound props for Charlotte today, the Pelicans rank 26 in rebounds allowed per game to opposing teams. So I could see that happening. I mentioned assist, right? And LaMelo Ball's assist per 40 minutes is at a career high. When I checked earlier, his over-under was 8.5 assists, which he's only gone over that line in 3 of his last 10 games this season. But he has gone over that line in 3 out of 6 career games against the Pelicans. So I think that's worth looking at. LaMelo. It's a little worrisome that he has only gone over that line in 3 out of his last 10 games, but at least he's got there in his last 3 out of 6 career games against the Pelicans. LaMelo has not had a triple double in 6 career games against the Pelicans. Anyways, um, I mentioned I don't have a lot of time to break down these games this morning, and I really don't have all the information that I need. There's still a lot of information that hasn't come out yet, but right now, what is the line on this game? I would think that a lot of people would be interested in the Hornets in this game for good reason. All right, they're favored by 6.5 is what I'm seeing here. They're on a 6-game win streak. It does worry me that three of these projected starters for the Pelicans today, were born in North Carolina. Trey Murphy and Sadiq Bey and Zion. So maybe they'll have a lot of friends and family in the stands and want to show out today. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a little too early for me to be making like picks and stuff. But I gotta lean towards Charlotte in this one still. Probably take it down to -5.5 at least, 4.5. Sometimes when we take these teams that are supposed to win at home, we gotta take that line down a little bit. There's or even money line. So I mean, yeah, I like New Orleans though. I like Zion and Derek Queen. But Hornets are hot right now. Anyways, yeah, we got the Houston Rockets at Indiana Pacers. Houston has won one regular season game in a row against Indiana. Siakam, the projected starting center for Indiana today, has a 5-1 career record against Şengün. I mentioned that Kevin Durant is out today for Houston. If you guys like Şengün, props today. He is a very good points in the paint scorer, and Indiana is terrible at defending against points in the paint. They rank 28th in points in the paint allowed per game. And even Amen Thompson, he ranks 8th best in the NBA in points in the paint per game. So I think Şengün and Amen Thompson can take advantage of that. And then rebounds. If you guys like any Houston rebound props, Indiana allows the second most rebounds per game to opposing teams. Also, Indiana sends their opponents to the free throw line second most out of any team in the league. So Şengün, out of available Houston Rockets today, he leads this team in free throw attempts per game. He ranks 21st in the NBA. And then Amen Thompson ranks 29th. So I think not just do Amen Thompson and Şengün have a big points in the paint advantage in this game, but they also have that they're good at drawing fouls, so they could pick up a few more easy points there at the free throw line. And I looked at the triple-double history. I know some of you like those triple-double props. Şengün hasn't had a triple-double in 8 career games against Indiana. All 8 career games, he hasn't had one. Amen Thompson hasn't had one in all of his 5 career games against Indiana. And then Siakam has not had one in 14 career games against Houston. Both of these teams are really good at limiting assists per game. So I think that I feel like that's probably going to be the hardest thing for some of these triple-double candidates to reach today is those assists. Yeah, but Amen Thompson, I mentioned that his points in the paint advantage. His points per 40 minutes is at an all-time high in his career. So if you like his points today, you got that working for you. I did notice, and some of these other guys for Houston are going to have to step up with KD being out. I mentioned usage rate a lot. Houston Rockets player usage rate. I'll just look up real quick. So guys that I think that could benefit from that, Şengün's usage could go up a little bit more. I don't know what necessarily Reed Shepherd's been doing lately, but he's up there in usage rate. Eason and Amin Thompson, Jabari Smith. So I think those guys in that order are most likely to benefit from KD's absence today. But you could also look at previous games this season that Kevin Durant has missed and see who's stepped up in those games. There's a lot of different stuff to look at, right? Siakam, he's been a workhorse for the Pacers. His points per 40 minutes is at an all-time career high. And last that I checked, his over-under is 23.5 points, which he's gone over that in his last 6 out of 10 games. And then only gone over that in 4 out of 14 career games against Houston. But I do like the fact that, his points per 40 minutes is at an all-time high now. And Houston is below average at defending against points per game to opposing centers. And that's what Siakam is projected to be today. So I don't think things are looking too terrible for Siakam. Both of these teams are on 2-game winning streaks. Like I said, there's not a lot of there's some information that just hasn't come out yet. But my early prediction in this one, let's go check what the spread is. Houston's favored by 6.5. I haven't even had time to look at against the spread trends, but we can look at it real quick. Just see who's good and bad against the spread. Indiana is better than Houston against the spread this season. Charlotte, just going back to that game real quick, they are the second best team against the spread this year. But New Orleans isn't bad either. They're right up there with them, close to them. Looks like the 6th best against the spread. I'd still lean towards Charlotte there. I'd probably just lean towards probably Houston in this one still. Probably take that line down to 5.5. No Kevin Durant, kind of isn't good there for Houston, right? But something else you could check if you have time is, Houston's record without Kevin Durant this season. I don't know how many games he's missed, but I think that's something that could be valuable as well. Yeah, I'm going to lean towards Houston in that one just right now. Like I said, these are not necessarily like picks that I'm giving out. These are just kind of early predictions. I only have a few more minutes so I can be on the air here, guys. But I'll try to give you a foundation to help you out throughout the day with your picks here. Yeah, Minnesota on a 4-game win streak at Memphis, who's on a 6-game losing streak. And Minnesota has won one regular season game in a row against Memphis. Minnesota ranks 17th in points in the paint allowed per game. Points in the paint allowed per game. Yeah, Memphis ranks, Minnesota ranks 17th, so they're slightly below average. And then so Edey's out. It looks like Morant's out. Jaren Jackson Jr. could benefit from that, but he's questionable to play in this game today with a quadriceps issue. Sorry. Memphis is bad at defending against the 3-point shot. Anthony Edwards, DiVincenzo, and Naz Reid are all in the top 50 of the NBA in 3-point field goals made per game. So I think those guys could benefit from it. Anthony Edwards is questionable, though, to play in this game. So there's probably, around a 50-50 chance that he plays in this game today. If he does play, he is projected to be the shooting guard. 3-point field goals allowed by Memphis to shooting guards is something that looks like Memphis is a little bit below average at defending against shooting guards 3-point field goals, but DiVincenzo's projected to be that point guard today. And Memphis allows the second most 3-point field goals made per game to opposing point guards. So not only are they bad as a team at defending against the 3-point shot, but specifically to that point guard position. And if Edwards is ruled out and Randall, I mean, DiVincenzo, DiVincenzo could, benefit from that for sure. Let's go look at the Timberwolves player usage rate real quick. It's Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle. Those are the top two guys with the usage rate. And then it's Naz Reid. Out of the guys who play like meaningful minutes, it's going to be Naz Reid, and then Jaden McDaniels, and DiVincenzo. So I would think, if Anthony Edwards and or Julius Randle are ruled out, those are the guys that should benefit the most from it. Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, DiVincenzo. So, yeah, I like DiVincenzo's matchup there. What about 3-point field goals allowed to Naz Reid's usually running center? I'm just trying to gauge how Memphis is defending against centers, 3-pointers. Looks like they're about average. And I kind of want to know how Memphis defends against bench points. They're pretty good at defending against bench points, but a lot of the teams that have allowed more bench points than Memphis have played an extra 3 games, 4 games than they have. So I feel like that number's skewed. If you can get that by the bench points, if you can view that in a per game basis, that's going to be better than just how many bench points they've allowed total throughout the entire season. I mentioned that yesterday. If you like any assist props for Minnesota, Memphis ranks 17th in assists allowed per game and 18th in rebounds allowed per game. So they're slightly below average at defending against assists and rebounds as a team. If Jaren Jackson Jr. does play, I give him an extra boost here, since Minnesota allows their opponents to go to the free throw line more than league average per game. And Jaren Jackson Jr. ranks 40th best in the NBA in free throw attempts per game. So, if you like Jaren Jackson Jr. today for points, you got that additional benefit there. I did notice Julius Randle has had a triple-double in 2 of his last 25 games against Memphis. Anthony Edwards has never had a triple-double in 19 career games against Memphis. Early prediction on this one. Who we got? Minnesota and Memphis. I'm looking at these against the spread trends. They're both pretty bad against the spread. What's the line at? Minnesota minus 7.5. I mean, it's tough to take that right now, considering, Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle are questionable. But on the flip side, Jaren Jackson Jr. is questionable too. So, it'd be tough to get behind Minnesota if Edwards and Randle are out. I think that one we really got to look at those injury updates. Let's say Edwards and Randle and Jackson all play. I gotta lean towards Minnesota in that one. And then let's say everybody sits. I don't know. I guess Memphis at that point. But there's a little bit too much up in the air in that game. And then the last game, Philadelphia at Clippers. Philadelphia has won 1 regular season game in a row against the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard does have a 10-3 career record against Kelly Oubre Jr. If you like, Maxey for points today, I do give him a fast break advantage. He ranks second best in the NBA in fast break points per game. Clippers are below average at defending against the fast break. And the Sixers, on the other side, are also nearing the bottom of the league in fast break points allowed per game. They rank 25th. Kawhi Leonard ranks fourth best in the NBA in fast break points per game. James Harden ranks 48th, but as we know, Harden missed yesterday. So let's see if he'll play today. 3-pointers. I also give Maxey probably a slight advantage there. He's the projected point guard here for Philadelphia. I want to see how the Clippers defend against that specific position. The 3-point shot, they're about average, but as a team, the Clippers rank 18th in 3-point field goals allowed per game. So overall, I do give Maxey a slight advantage there. If you like anybody for the Clippers for assists, Philadelphia ranks 23rd in assists allowed per game. Also, if you like anybody for the Clippers rebounds, Philadelphia ranks 24th in rebounds allowed per game. And if Harden does play, I do give him a slight boost for free throw opportunities. He ranks fourth best in the NBA in free throw attempts per game. Kawhi ranks 17th in free throw attempts per game, and Philadelphia does send their opponents to the free throw line more than league average. Harden's had a triple double in his last 3 out of 20 games against Philadelphia. Embiid has not had a triple double in 10 career games against the Clippers. What's the spread here? Clippers -2.5. That's probably the way I would lean there. So just as of right now. So yeah, Hornets, Rockets, Wolves, and Clippers. But I feel like I have to pick a dog, right? If I were to go with a dog, Sixers and Clippers. If I had to go with a dog to cover today, I'd probably be looking at Philadelphia. Philadelphia 76ers. All right. Well, I got to get out of here. If you guys need those injury updates, like I said yesterday, rotowire.com and the FanDuel Daily Fantasy app, I find those to be the best. I'm sure there's players that will end up not playing today that I didn't even mention because it's so early in the day. So just keep a lookout for that if you're interested in that. And then I think tomorrow I might have some more time to go over some stuff with you guys. Let's go check the NBA schedule real quick for tomorrow. Yeah, I should have some. A lot more time tomorrow, and I'll try to do a show closer to tip off. So, anyways, thanks for joining today, everybody. If you could hit that subscribe button, we would appreciate it. Also, thank you to our sponsors, BetUS, MyBookie.ag, Walmart.com, Open Gold, the MLB and NFL Pro Shops, and W Energy Drinks. All right, guys, take care. Good luck.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.